This video will provide an overview of the CenterPoint Payments Portal, which allows CenterPoint users the ability to accept credit card or e-check payments online. To use the Payments Portal, you will need to have email set up for both the CenterPoint database you are working with and the customer you are sending the invoice to. To set up the email for the database, click on File, Preferences, Email Setup, and Email Setup. Then fill in the tab based on your settings, whether it's the application level, the database level, or the user level. In this case, I'm doing the database level. I'm using my email information based on my email server. You may need to get this from your IT provider or your internet provider. Once you have it filled in, click on Test, and you should receive a confirmation that the email is set up correctly. Click on OK, and then click on Save. Once you have your email set up for your database, now you need to make sure you get your email set up for your customers. To do this, click on Setup, Customers, go into the customers that you would like to send invoices to via email, in this case. In that setup of customers, click on the Email and Print tab, then fill in the information whom you'd like to send the email to. So in this case, I'm sending it to the accounting manager. Fill in the complete email address, and then ensure that you have Send To in the Invoices field. Once you have that filled out, you can click on Save, and now you are ready to set up your customer payments portal. First, once you purchase the customer payments portal, you will register with Clover Connect to get your merchant credentials. You will also need to add the service to your module configuration. To do this, click on File, Administration, Module Configuration Manager, and in this area, you will scroll down till you see the Online Services and Customer Payments Portal. Ensure that there is a check mark in both. If there is not, click on them to enter a check mark, click OK, and then you will restart your CenterPoint to allow the changes to take effect. Once you have restarted CenterPoint, you can go in to Setup, Online Services, and then you will begin by registering the database by clicking on Register. Then click on the Customer Payments Portal tab. In this field, you will fill in your information. If you'd like to add a logo to the invoices that your customer sees, you can click on Upload. And then pull in the logo you would like to upload. Next, choose your bank account that you want the cash to go into. And then if you provide discounts to your customer for paying early, enter the discounts account there. Next, you will enter the merchant ID that was given to you by Clover Connect when you registered with them. Once you have the information entered in, click on Validate. It should pop up a message that you have been successfully validated. And then if you'd like, you can generate a test transaction. Okay. The test transaction will look something like this with my logo, your basic information. Now, this is not an actual one and it won't pull into your CenterPoint software. So I'll go ahead and close that. Then I click OK now that I've validated and generated a test transaction. Now I'm ready to begin emailing invoices to customer and receiving payments. We'll go ahead and set up a couple test invoices so that we can see the process. So I'm going to go to Processes, Sales, Customer Invoices. And in here, I'm going to pick the customer that I have an email set up for. I will fill in any information here that I need. Notice here, if you have successfully set up your email, this customer will have the green check on the little envelope icon. If you do not see the green check on the envelope icon, try clicking on that to verify it. And if it isn't set up, go back into the customer and verify it's set up. Click on Invoice, and we'll go ahead and put some sample data in here. And once I have that in, and I click on Save, it will pop up the email invoice settings. I can enter a subject. This will be included on the email to the customer. I click on OK, and I can send an invoice to them. We'll go and add another one just so that we have some couple examples here. We'll change the date on this one. All right. Go ahead and click Save. And now we should be able to go out to the email and see the invoices that the customer has received. All right. So our first email came in, and I'll go ahead into it. The customer will see an email just like this. The information you put in the body of that email when you sent it is here. The actual PDF of the invoice is right here. And on here is a blue link. Your customers will be able to click on the blue link and go to a payments portal where they now can enter their payment information. Notice it shows two invoices here, not just the one that I was looking at. So any open invoices for this customer should be available for payment on this customer payment portal. When I click on View Details, it'll show the breakdown of those invoices. At this point, I could choose to pay one or both, or if I want to pay a part of one, I can click on that invoice, click on Pay, and then on this screen, the customer has the ability to put in a different amount. So in this case, we're only going to pay $400 on this invoice. The customer will then enter their invoice or their credit card information, and then click on Submit. And now the customer will have a receipt pop up on their screen, and they can go ahead and print this invoice to their printer or to a PDF if they'd like, or they can simply close if they don't need that. If I go back and I click on the other invoice, you'll see here that the link brings us to the details. My amount is reduced by the amount that was paid on the other invoice, and you can see here that $75 is still due on that original invoice. I'm going to go ahead and make a second payment. We're going to do another amount, and we're going to do 150. Okay. We're going to go ahead and click on Submit. The receipt is there and available. We can go ahead and close this. Now, since we didn't fully pay the invoices, there is still an invoice available to be paid, but notice it pays the oldest first on this particular setting. If I were to click on Pay here, it would only show this, it only shows the single invoice now. Let's go back and look at how those payments show up in Red Wing now that our customer has made them. In CenterPoint, to receive and view those payments, we click on Processes, Customer Payments Portal, and Get Customer Receipts. In this area, you can see both payments I made at this point. I can import them, and if you have many of them, it'll list, you can see down below here where I can go through pages of them. But we just have the two. So I'm going to go ahead and import. Okay. And once I've imported them, they become like any payment that we have within Red Wing. If I go to Processes and Transaction Search, I can look up the payments. I can say payment type here, and I could look up just my customer payments portal payments. Oops. And you can see these here. I can also add a column so that I can see the information here. And you can see that those are made through the customer payments portal. They also show up as receipts, just as your other receipts would. They show up as receipts in your transaction reports. So if I look at a receipts by customer, you can see my payments that were made through the customer payment portal. One other thing that you can do is within the customer payments portal under processes, we can go to see the customer open invoices that we have emailed. And at this point, of the invoices we had emailed, the only one we have a payment remaining due for is this one that was originally for $475, and now it just has $400 remaining. For more information on anything I have shown you today, click on Help, CenterPoint Help, and it will bring you directly to our CenterPoint Help website. In here, I can look up topics such as email setup if I want some additional help on setting up my email. And within those, there are links to additional information such as see also. The other thing we can do is the customer payments portal. We have actual step-by-step instructions on how you can set it up and any questions you might bump into.